Just one single foot, nothing else, and I have owned this figure since release all these years. She never leans at all. Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven. Today with a figure which I would love to share with you guys. We are taking a look at figures released in the past 7-8 years ago or older, and this is among my favorites by Good Smile Company from the mid-2010s. I did a video on Alisa Ilinichina from GodEater not too long ago, and today we shall take a look at Alisa Ilinichina Amiella from GodEater as well. So unlike Alisa Ilinichina, Alisa had a ton of figures, so many scale figures of her back then that you will be spoiled for choice which one to choose, and a lot of them are excellent. Alphamax alone made 2 or 3 different Alisa figures, and then the most famous ones and among the earliest ones to come out was perhaps the one made by Plum. And the Plum version of Alisa, if you put into some effort into hunting that figure in the pre-owned market, you can get one for 5,000-6,000 yen back then. I'm not sure how much she costs today, but back then, yeah, 5,000 to 6,000 yen you could get one. And even though Plum is the middle of the pack in terms of quality control, means 6,000 yen, why not, right? Okay, so back to this Alisa over here. This one came out much later. Like a few years after Plum and Alphamax and everyone else made their version of Alisa figure. The Good Smile one was one of the last few to come out, but it is also my favorite figure of Alisa. I'm actually glad to have been patient enough to wait for several years before getting my hands on this one. Not to say the other brands are bad, but when I look for figures, I not only look for paintwork and detail. I look for the full package, like it needs to have a nice pose, it needs to have a nice base, things like that, you know. And this Alisa figure over here is what I would even call a perfect figure, even more so for something that is 1/8 scale. Okay, so this came out, I don't remember the release date, or the release price was around 15,000 yen, I think. Yeah, release date was mid-2010s, so 8 years ago, I think. And the height of this figure from the base all the way to the top of her right hand over here, 27.5 centimeters, including the handle of the sword 29, but the base alone is 7 to 8 centimeters, so this is definitely 1/8 scale. And even for a small scale figure, this is one of my favorite figures in my collection, partly because I like anime girls, anime women with huge weapons, my kind of thing. I love Black Rock Shooter, I like FGO for the same reason, I like Blue Archive. Yeah, maybe their guns aren't that big except for a few characters, just like Nikkei as well, but I just like pretty girls with weapons. So this is totally my kind of thing, right? When it comes to anime figures, I wish that this was 1/7. Yeah, I would pay more for 1/7. But regardless, this is a borderline perfect figure, not necessarily in terms of quality control. Though on my copy of this Alisa, I think she's mostly fine. Now, before I move on, a quick mention about the box over here. The box is also very compact. So this is a figure that will be cheap to ship. Yeah, not too expensive to ship. And I'm not sure how much she goes for today, but I wouldn't be surprised if she is more than 15,000 yen now. Because in my opinion, this is one of the best best Alisa figures ever made. For the sculpting department, like, I have zero complaints. Even more so, this is considered excellent for 1/8 scale, right? Excellent. And oh boy, it is like, no, whenever I look at her sword, it's like, oh, I like it so much, right? So sculpting department is quite exceptional, I would say, especially when you focus on the sculpting of her body, her waist region, right? Like the anatomy of the female body. Like, you see the way I do my lighting in my videos, I try to accentuate, I try to emphasize on the body curves and lines, making use of shadows, and you can really see the body sculpting over here. Yeah, based on the lighting I'm doing over here. All the muscle lines along her waist region, that is totally my kind of thing. And then, not to mention that Zetai Roiki, those thighs over there, I love Zetai Roiki so much. So for a 1/8 scale figure, this is a 9.5 or even 10 out of 10 in terms of sculpting for me. Yeah, I'm actually rating her this high. Moving on to the paintwork of this figure, she is also borderline perfect, in my opinion, in terms of the quality control. Of course, if I were to split hairs over here, I look at her and inspect her this close, just a few centimeters away, then maybe on the purple color trims over here on the stocking, maybe there is a little bit of how do I even describe it? Like, doesn't look that nice or well defined, but we are talking about fractions of a millimeter, like 0.1, 0.2 or so. Yeah, just pointing out what I'm seeing over here. But overall, I think it is a non-issue. And once again, I love shading, I love weathering, and this figure is very heavy in shading when it comes to paintwork, be it her hair or even her outfit, her skirt, everything, her stocking as well, and even more importantly, her sword. Like, I have taken so many close-up footage videos of this figure just to emphasize on the amount of detail and the shading on the paintwork for a figure that is 1/8 scale and 15,000 yen 8 years ago. Another reason why I said this is a borderline or even a perfect figure is because she gets a diorama base over here that is not too big and does not take up too much space. I mean, you have a very attractive pose, a huge detailed weapon, a diorama base that takes up so little space on your shelf. What else can you ask for, right? And this figure is actually extremely stable despite standing on only one leg. She does not wobble much when I shake the figure. Yeah, sure, if I were to push it like that, maybe she'll fall over because the surface area of the base is small, but this is fine because the figure is not exactly top heavy. One thing I noticed with Good Smile is that their figures tend to be very lightweight. They use a lot of ABS and less PVC material, so this is not a top heavy figure, this is so light in fact, and because of that, the figure is stable enough, despite standing on one single foot and being supported by only one single metal foot peg. Yeah, a single square foot peg going in, and the tightness, the fit is just nice, not too tight, not too loose. In fact, I can easily pull her off the base, as you can see. So this is the kind of QC that I would love to see every figure brand do. And yeah, no plastic support rods, no unbalanced weight distribution. This thing is just one single foot, nothing else, and I have owned this figure since release all these years. She never leans at all. This is the kind of figure where I would love to see more of them today by every brand, but unfortunately nowadays when a figure becomes too complex or complicated because of the character design, then you'll start seeing all these plastic or metal rods popping up just to support the weight of the figure. Yeah, that is kind of unfortunate. I really wish that stuff like this would be more common today. But overall, what makes this Good Smile figure better than the alternatives by Plum and Alphamax and the others is that, yeah, this is a full package. Good base, good balance in terms of weight distribution, very good paint work, and not much negatives. In fact, I can't think of any negatives over here. Yeah. The Alphamax version, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, she had balance issues. The weight distribution is off and the figure was difficult to assemble, especially the one where she is in this combat outfit where she's dashing forward. I liked that figure, but that figure had issues. Meanwhile, the Plum version is very likable, but the paint work, the shading is not at the level of Good Smile Company's version. So with today's video, this is a short one for today. Can I recommend it a wholehearted yes? I mean, even if you're paying 20k for this figure, it is still worth it. Or if you are on a budget, you don't want to spend too much on a GodEater scale figure, look up at Plum's offerings. Yeah. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Please do subscribe to this channel and give this video a like if you want to see more content like this. I'll see you guys again soon. Thanks for watching and goodbye.